No excuses, only results. 1. Excuses are cheap. Results are priceless. Excuses are the easiest thing in the world to find. They come crawling out of every corner like shadows at sunset. You don't have to earn them. You don't have to fight for them. They'll show up uninvited, whispering sweet nothings in your ear, telling you that it's okay to sit down, that it's fine to put things off, that tomorrow will be better. Excuses are free, and that's the problem. Free things rarely hold value. A man can gather a wagon full of excuses and still be starving by nightfall. They won't put food on the table, won't build a roof over your head, won't take you 1 mile further down the road. Excuses are counterfeit coins, shiny for a moment, but worthless when you try to spend them. Now results, those are a different breed. Results don't just fall into your lap. They don't come easy, and they sure don't come cheap. You pay for results with calloused hands, with sweat on your brow, with nights of exhaustion where you collapse into bed, but still set your alarm to rise before dawn. Results demand sacrifice. They ask for your comfort, your laziness, and your excuses in exchange for progress. Here's the truth. Every time you choose an excuse, you're trading away results. You can't have both. You can't hold onto excuses with one hand and expect results to land in the other. Life doesn't work that way. Excuses are the currency of the broke, but results are the wealth of the relentless. Think about the men and women who built this world. They didn't get there because life gave them a smooth path. They weren't handed success. They were handed hardship, obstacles, and resistance. But instead of bowing down to excuses, they dug in their heels and pushed forward anyway. Their results became monuments, while excuses were forgotten in the dust. Excuses will always try to talk you. They'll tell you, you've done enough today, rest now. They'll whisper, it's too risky, what if you fail? They'll comfort you with lies that sound like kindness. But here's the reality, excuses are chains. Every time you believe one, you shackle yourself to the same spot. You can paint those chains gold, decorate them with pretty words, but chains are still chains. Results, though, are freedom. Results are proof that you refuse to be held down. They're the key that unlocks doors, the light that cuts through the fog, the evidence that you stood tall when excuses tried to break you down. Results don't need words. They don't need explanations. Results speak loud enough on their own. So you've got a choice in this life. Gather up excuses or gather up results. One is a pile of ashes that the wind will scatter. The other is a mountain that will stand long after you're gone. When you feel tired, when you're tempted to justify quitting, remember this. Excuses are cheap, but results are priceless. Excuses give you nothing but regret, while results give you pride, respect, and a legacy. At the end of your days, nobody will ask you about the excuses you had. They won't care about the reasons you didn't start or the justifications you made to quit. They'll look at the trail you left behind. Did you build something? Did you finish the race? Did you leave results that prove you lived with fire in your bones? Excuses die with you. Results live on. Choose wisely. 2. Your circumstances don't define you. Life has a way of dealing folks a crooked hand. Some are born into wealth, some into poverty. Some are raised with every advantage, others with nothing but the clothes on their back. That's just the way of the world. It ain't fair, and it never promised to be. But here's the kicker, where you start doesn't decide where you finish. Circumstances are the setting of your story, not the ending. A man may be born in the mud, but he ain't doomed to die there unless he chooses to stay. I've seen plenty of people use their hardships as shields. They'll say, I can't get ahead because of where I came from. Or if I had their resources, I'd be successful too. That's a pretty excuse dressed up in fancy clothes. Truth is, plenty of folks have climbed out of deeper holes with less than you've got right now. And plenty of folks with every advantage have wasted it all because they lacked grit. Your circumstances can explain your challenges, but they don't excuse your surrender. You weren't born to be trapped by the place, time, or people around you. You were born with the power to push forward, to carve out a future with your own 2 hands. Think about the oak tree. It doesn't get to choose where its seed falls. Maybe it lands in rich soil, maybe it lands in rocky ground, but the seed doesn't waste time complaining. It digs its roots wherever it is and fights for sunlight. Some of the strongest, tallest trees I've ever seen grew out of the hardest places, because the struggle made them stronger. That's the way with people, too. Your tough beginnings can become the very thing that shapes your strength. Growing up poor can teach you hunger. Failing over and over can teach you persistence. Being overlooked can teach you to fight harder. Circumstances might bend you, but they don't have to break you. You don't get to choose how your story starts, but you sure as hell get to choose how it's written from here on out. Every day you pick up the pen, every decision is another line. Excuses will let your circumstances write your story for you. But results come when you grab that pen and start carving your own path, no matter what's stacked against you. Some of the greatest victories in history came from people who had every reason to quit. Folks who were told they weren't good enough, who were laughed at, doubted, even hated. They could have let those circumstances cage them. Instead, they used that fire as fuel. They looked at the odds and said, "Watch me anyway." And because of that, they left results that still echo long after their time. Circumstances are temporary. They shift like weather. Day's storm can clear to tomorrow's sunrise. But if you bow to the storm, you'll never see the morning. Don't let where you are blind you to where you can go. Look down at your hands. Those hands can build, create, lift, fight, and carry. They are not bound by your past, by your surroundings, or by what people think you deserve. Your hands are the tools that will build your future. Don't waste them wringing in self-pity. Put them to work. When it's all said and done, people won't remember where you started. They'll remember how far you came. They won't care that you had it tough. They'll care that you refused to stay down. That's the legacy that lasts. So when you look at your life and the cards you've been dealt, remember this: your circumstances don't define you. They're just the starting line. What defines you is how hard you run, how long you fight, and whether you refuse to quit before the finish. The mud may be on your boots today, but tomorrow it can be the proof that you climbed out and kept walking. Don't let your circumstances be your prison. Let them be the proof that you were strong enough to overcome. 3. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is like the morning mist. It looks good when the sun first comes up, fresh and inspiring, but give it a couple of hours and it disappears. That's the trouble with motivation. It's temporary, slippery, and it sure won't stick around when the road gets hard. Folks wait on motivation like it's some kind of magic wind that'll push them where they need to go. They say, "I'll start when I feel ready, I'll work when I feel inspired," but here's the truth: if you wait for motivation, you'll wait your whole life. The wind don't always blow, and the spark don't always catch. Discipline, though, that's a different story. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, sore, or uninspired. Discipline is the steel in your spine that makes you get up when the bed is warm and the world outside is cold. Discipline is the voice that says, "Do it anyway." Motivation is a visitor. Discipline is family. Motivation may show up when it pleases, stay for a short while, and leave when it gets inconvenient. Discipline lives with you. It becomes part of who you are. It's not about feelings. It's about decisions. Think of a farmer. He doesn't get to plant his fields only on the days he feels motivated. He can't wait for the mood to strike before he tends his crops. If he did, nothing would grow and his family would starve. No, he gets up before dawn, rain or shine, aching back or not, because discipline tells him the work must be done. Motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going. Anyone can start strong when the excitement is fresh, but when the grind sets in, when the hours are long and the results are slow, that's when most folks quit. Not because they lacked motivation, but because they lacked discipline. Discipline is a promise you make to yourself, a covenant that says, "I will do what needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not." That kind of promise builds character. It builds results. It builds a life worth living. And here's the thing: discipline doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's forged. Every time you ignore the excuse, every time you push past the comfort, every time you do the hard thing instead of the easy one, you're building discipline. You're tempering steel in the fire. Motivation is fragile. It shatters at the first sign of struggle. But discipline can't be broken easy. It bends, it stretches, it endures. It carries you through storms, through failures, through days when nothing goes right. Discipline keeps your feet moving when motivation has long since abandoned you. People often say, "I wish I had their motivation." But they're looking at the wrong thing. The people they admire don't have endless motivation. They have relentless discipline. They show up every day, whether the mood is there or not. That's the secret. That's the difference. Motivation is about feelings. Discipline is about commitment. And results don't come from feelings. They come from commitment. You can feel like quitting and still keep going if you've built discipline. You can feel tired, unworthy, or hopeless, and still take the next step, because discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it commands action. If you're waiting for motivation, you'll stay stuck. If you build discipline, you'll move mountains. That's the truth carved into the bones of every man and woman who ever accomplished anything worth remembering. So stop chasing the fleeting wind of motivation. Plant your feet on the solid ground of discipline. Wake up and work no matter the mood. Keep walking no matter the weather. Stay steady no matter the storm. Because in the end, it won't be the times you felt motivated that got you results. It'll be the times you felt nothing at all, but chose discipline anyway. For, take ownership, no blame. There's a sickness running through this world, and it's contagious as wildfire. It's the habit of blaming everybody else when life don't go your way. Folks blame their parents, their boss, the government, the economy, their past, the weather, you name it. There's always someone or something else to pin it on. But here's the hard truth. The blame game never built a single life worth living. Pointing fingers won't get you one step closer to where you want to be. Blame is a crutch, and the longer you lean on it, the weaker you get. Taking ownership, that's where strength begins. Ownership says, "This is my life, my choices, my mistakes, my consequences, and it'll be my responsibility to change it." That kind of thinking puts the reins back in your hand. It might feel heavy, but it's the only way to steer. Think about it like this. If everything that's wrong in your life is somebody else's fault, then you've just handed them the power to fix it, and most times they don't care enough to do it. So you stay stuck, waiting for someone else to save you. Ownership takes that power back. Ownership says, "I'll save myself." I've seen plenty of men waste their best years pointing at the horizon, saying, "If only this hadn't happened. If only they treated me different. If only I was born somewhere else." But if only won't plow your field, won't put food on your table, won't bring results. Action will, responsibility will. When you start taking ownership, everything changes. Instead of saying, "I lost my job because my boss was unfair," you say, "I should have sharpened my skills, or I'll sharpen them now." Instead of saying, "I failed because life is against me," you say, "I failed because I made mistakes, and I'll learn from them." Ownership doesn't make excuses. It makes adjustments. Blame is about looking backward. Ownership is about looking forward. One chains you to the past, the other frees you for the future. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes life really does hand you a bad deal. Sometimes you get hurt by people who never should have hurt you. Sometimes circumstances hit you with a storm you never deserved. But even then, you still own how you respond. You can't control the storm, but you control whether you sit down and drown or fight your way to higher ground. Taking ownership isn't about guilt. It's about power. When you say, "This is on me," you're not beating yourself up. You're telling yourself that you've got the strength to carry it, to fix it, to move forward. That's freedom. Blame leaves you powerless. Ownership makes you unstoppable. Ask yourself this. At the end of your days, Do you want to be remembered as the one who always had an excuse, always found someone else to fault? Or do you want to be remembered as the one who took responsibility, stood tall, and made something out of whatever life handed you? Every great result comes from ownership. Every strong leader, every successful builder, every man or woman who left a mark. They all had the same trait. They didn't sit around blaming the world. They rolled up their sleeves, looked in the mirror, and said, "It's on me, and I'll handle it." So stop pointing fingers. Stop waiting for someone else to fix it. Stop leaning on excuses like a broken crutch. Take hold of your life. Own your past. Own your mistakes. Own your future. Because until you do, nothing changes. The moment you take ownership is the moment you take control. And when you take control, results start to follow. No excuses. No blame, only responsibility, only results. 5. Action is louder than excuses. Excuses got a big mouth. They'll talk all day, filling the air with reasons why something can't be done. They sound convincing, too. Smooth words, clever arguments, wrapped up real nice. But at the end of the day, excuses are just noise. Empty air, a hollow drum that makes a racket but never builds a thing. Action, though action speaks with proof. Action don't need a speech, don't need an argument, don't even need a defense. Action shows up quiet and leaves behind results. Action is the only language success understands. I've heard men talk about what they're gonna do their whole lives. I'm gonna start that business. I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna chase that dream. But years later, they're still talking, still explaining why it hasn't happened yet. Life don't reward intentions, it rewards action. Excuses are like smoke. They cloud your vision, sting your eyes, and choke your lungs, but smoke disappears. Action is like fire, it clears the way, lights the path, and leaves a mark that can't be ignored. Here's the truth. Excuses are easy, action is hard. Excuses cost nothing in the moment. Action demands effort, sacrifice, and sweat. That's why most folks choose excuses, but nothing of value ever came from the easy road. The world doesn't pay you for the excuses you made. It pays you for the results you produced. Think about a builder. He can sit on the porch all day explaining why the house ain't finished, short on supplies, bad weather, not enough help. All those excuses might even be true, but truth don't put a roof over your head. The man who picks up his hammer, even in the rain, even when he's tired, even when the odds are against him, that's the man who will have a house standing by winter. Action is louder because it's visible. You can argue with excuses all day long, but you can't argue with results. A field that's been plowed, a barn that's been built, a body that's been trained, a business that's been started, those things speak louder than 1,000 reasons why they couldn't be done. Excuses are a shield for the weak. Action is a weapon for the strong, and here's the kicker: action doesn't always have to be perfect. Too many folks freeze up waiting for the right time or the perfect plan, but waiting is just another excuse in disguise. A clumsy first step is still better than standing still. You can fix mistakes along the way, but you can't fix nothing if you never move. You want respect. Don't tell people what you're going to do. Show them what you've done. You want to inspire others. Don't hand them excuses. Hand them results. You want to change your life. Stop talking. Start acting. Every excuse you make today becomes regret tomorrow. Every action you take today becomes pride tomorrow. Which do you want to live with? Excuses sound good in the moment, but they age like sour milk. Action might hurt in the moment, but it ages like fine whiskey, better and stronger with time. So next time you hear that little voice in your head whispering excuses, telling you to wait, to rest, to quit, answer back with action. Get up, move, do the thing anyway. Let your results do the talking. Because when the dust settles, nobody remembers the excuses. They only see the results. Action is louder. Action is stronger. Action is the only proof that counts. 6. Results tell your story when your time on this earth winds down. Folks ain't gonna gather round and trade tales about the excuses you made. They won't say, well, he always had a good reason why he couldn't do it. Excuses don't leave footprints. Excuses don't leave a legacy. Excuses die the moment they leave your lips. Results, though results live on, they're the story you leave behind. They're the proof you walked the walk instead of just talking. You see, every man and woman is writing a story with their life. Some are writing a tale of excuses, pages filled with I almosts and I would haves. Others are writing a tale of results, chapters full of battles fought, goals achieved, and mountains climbed. Which story do you want your name stamped on? Results tell the truth about you. You can say you're disciplined, but your results will show if it's real. You can claim you're a hard worker, but your results will prove it. You can promise the world you'll make something of yourself, but only your results will testify that you kept that promise. Results don't lie. They're the scoreboard of your life. Think about it. When someone looks at a farmer's land, they don't ask him how many excuses he had that season. They look at the harvest. When a builder shows his work, folks don't care how many rainy days he had. They see the house standing tall, and when your life is done, nobody's gonna care about the storms you faced. They'll see what you built in spite of them. That's why results matter. They're the story people will tell about you long after you're gone. Excuses are temporary comfort. They make you feel better in the moment, but they rob you of the pride that comes later. Results are the opposite. They might demand pain in the moment, but they give you pride that lasts a lifetime. You want to be remembered, then let your results be your voice. Let your results say, I was here, I didn't quit, I built something, I lived with purpose. And here's the beauty of results. They don't have to be huge to matter. Maybe your result is raising your family right. Maybe it's building a business from scratch. Maybe it's getting stronger every day or breaking free from the chains of your past. Whatever it is, let your life show proof. Proof that you didn't bow to excuses. Proof that you chose results. One day, when people speak your name, what will they point to? Will they shake their heads and say, asterisk, he always had a reason, but never got it done? Or will they say, he faced it all, and look what he built with his own 2 hands. Results are your story carved in stone. Excuses are dust blown away by the wind. Every morning, you pick up the pen to write another page. You get to choose. Will today be another excuse, or will it be another result? Don't waste your life explaining why you couldn't. Spend it proving why you could. Build a story worth telling, not one worth forgetting. Because in the end, results are the only words that echo after you're gone. They're your testimony, your legacy, your story, and they'll tell the world who you really were. No excuses, only results. We've walked through the weeds of excuses and the hard ground of truth. We've seen what excuses really are: cheap, worthless, empty words that chain you to the same place. And we've seen what results are: proof, freedom, the legacy that lives on after you're gone. We talked about how circumstances don't have the final say. Where you start ain't where you have to finish. Hard beginnings can grow strong men and women if they refuse to quit. We laid it plain that motivation comes and goes like the wind, but discipline, that steady, unshakable choice to do what must be done, is what carries you through the storm. We tore down the habit of blame because pointing fingers never fixed a life. Ownership does. Taking responsibility for your choices, your failures, and your future. That's where power begins. We lit the fire of action because excuses may sound good, but they build nothing. Only action leaves results behind. Excuses die quick. Results live forever. And finally, we looked at legacy, the story you're writing right now. One day, the world won't remember your excuses. It will only see your results. What you built, what you overcame, the proof that you lived with grit in your gut and fight in your spirit. So what's left to say? It's simple. Stop making excuses. Start making results. Don't wait for the perfect day. It won't come. Don't wait for someone else to fix it. They won't. Don't wait for motivation. It fades. Don't hide behind your past. It doesn't own you. Don't point fingers. It's your life to steer. Today is the day to choose. Will you leave behind excuses, or will you leave behind results? When the sun sets on your life, let it be said of you, they didn't waste time explaining. They showed us proof. They lived with grit. They left results that speak louder than words. No excuses. Only results. That's the way forward. That's the way to live. That's the way to be remembered.